We've all been in situations where we feel disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may be going through this right now. It's not a nice feeling because we feel low, and that sense of disconnection really affects our functioning in our everyday life. And the reality is, everyone goes through this. So if you're going through something like this, you're definitely not alone. You're not the first to experience it. You won't be the last. Every single human will experience this at some point. So know that it is normal to feel spiritually distant, but the beauty is there is a way to overcome it. Now, before I give tips on how to overcome feeling spiritually disconnected from Allah, I want you to imagine a certain scenario. I'll provide an analogy to show you what it's like when you are spiritually disconnected from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine yourself sitting in a room and the blinds are all down in this room. Everywhere is dark. Even though your eyes are open, you can't see anything. You bump into things. You can't make sense of what's around you. So it becomes very hard to function in a normal way. So when Allah is not in our life, it's a bit like that. We may have our eyes open in our everyday life, but we're not really, because our hearts are not open, we can't really see things for the way they are, and we can't make sense of things. So life becomes very clumsy in a way and very dissatisfying. But imagine in that room, the blinds become half open. So things start to make more sense. You can start seeing things, but they're not fully visible to you yet. But at least you can see things. Maybe you're not bumping into them, different items in the room, but you can't fully function in that room because you can't fully see them. But then imagine the blinds are completely opened in that room. And when that happens, everything becomes visible. The light shines on everything around you, including on yourself, on the objects, on the furniture, and so you can see everything exactly as it is. There is clarity and you see the beauty in all that is. So when we're disconnected from Allah, it's a bit like that. It can be darkness, and when we're connected with Allah, we can see everything that's around us. Everything makes sense. Everything has clarity. So our life objective becomes to have that. And what's so powerful about this analogy is the sunlight outside is shining all the time. Even when the blinds are closed, that sunlight is out there. It's just not penetrating into that room. So similarly, Allah is always present. Allah is like light. There is a Quranic verse that says Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. So his nur is always there. But whether it penetrates into our heart very much depends on the state of our heart, the state of our spiritual heart. Good thing is we can transform it. And what's important is that we do this slowly, step by step. So it's not going to be a transformation that happens instantly, maybe not even in a day or a week, but as you chip away at it, you will find that it's transforming. Another important thing to remember is you may feel like the first time you attempt it, you fail. That's okay. The key thing is to keep trying and trying until you are seeing some sort of progress. If A doesn't work, try B. If B doesn't work, try C, and so on. You just have to keep trying. So now I'm going to provide you with some tips on how you can chip away at it and try to connect with Allah. But firstly, intention is very important. You have to set the intention that you want to connect with Allah, that you want that spiritual connection with Allah. Make that intention, because intentions are a type of goal setting, but intentions are also a type of dua. When you set that intention, you're saying, oh Allah, I want this from you. And also remember that actions will be judged according to intentions. So everything that you do thereon, it will be judged based on your intention, and therefore you will get reward, hasana, for those efforts that you go through. So that's the first thing. Make the intention to connect with Allah even before you start on the journey. Number 2, make dua. Ask Allah to make it easy for you. Ask Allah to help you. Ask Allah to inspire your heart to find ways that you can connect with Him. We shouldn't try to do this on our own, brothers and sisters. We should never purely rely on ourselves at any point. We have to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We do our bit, but we also have to rely on Allah. So make dua, say, "Oh Allah, I want to connect more with you. Oh Allah, I want you to be more in my life. Please help me. Allah, guide me to how I can connect more with you." So use different wording, use different strategies, converse with Allah on this. Thirdly, connect with the Quran. Now, when I say connect with the Quran, start off making it easy for yourself. It doesn't mean you have to read 10 pages. It doesn't even mean you have to read one page or even 10 verses. You could start with one verse, one ayah of the Quran a day. But the key is to read it with the intent of it affecting you, to read it with the heart set and the mindset that it will speak to you. Just as you read the Quran reads you. So allow the Quran to read you and know that whatever verse you're reading right there and then is meant for you. Try to find what that message is meant to be for you. The fourth one is to ask Allah for forgiveness. Ask Allah to forgive you for your previous sins. And this is important because of the room analogy. You see, with the heart, every time we commit a sin, based on a hadith, a black spot appears on our heart. So we're talking about a spiritual heart and we're talking about a spiritual black spot. But imagine that every time you commit a sin, a black spot appears on your heart. So visualize it. The more sins you've committed, the more black spots there are. So it's like that blinds getting darker and darker with all the sins that you are committing until that room becomes dark. Like that with your heart, the more sins you've committed, the less opportunity or less chance or less likely it is for the light of Allah to enter into your heart. But when you repent, it acts like a polish. It removes that darkness from your heart, and therefore the light will enter, inshallah, into your heart, and you will be able to connect more so with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the fourth one. Make tawbah, repent to Allah. And a point I want to make, if there are sins that you feel like you just can't give up, they've just taken a strong hold of you, then make dua to Allah that He gives you the strength and the ability to stop committing those sins. If you're not, in other words, if you're not at a position where you can say, Allah, I repent from committing this sin. I will not commit that sin again. Please forgive me. If you're not confident enough to be able to do that, then say, oh Allah, this sin has a strong hold of me. Please give me the strength to be able to stop committing this sin, as I do not want to displease you through this sin. Fifthly, surround yourself with good people. The power of people's influence should never be underestimated because we are like sponges. We absorb what people say, what people do. We absorb their energy. So if you're around people who are a bad influence on you, it will affect you. You may not even realize that it's affecting you, but over time, as you spend more and more time with them, they will start to affect the way you think, the way you act, and the way you feel. So if you're around good people, people that inspire you, people who remind you of Allah, then it's going to positively impact you. When I say keep good company, it's not just in the physical interaction. We spend a lot of time with people on social media as well. So think about what kind of information you're exposing yourself to or what kind of videos you're exposing yourself to on social media as well, or on YouTube or on Netflix or whatever it might be, because in a way they are like the company you are keeping. You're spending hours with these people, even if it's in the virtual world. They will also impact you as a person. They will impact your connection with Allah. So don't just reflect on the friends that you might see every Friday night or Saturday night. Reflect on the friends or the company you're keeping through social media and in the online world as well. These are 5 tips I've provided. And what I would suggest is you try different avenues to connect with Allah. When you truly want something, and think back to when you truly wanted something in your life, you tried everything. You did whatever it took to achieve that. With connection with Allah as well, when you truly want that, you will try different avenues. If one doesn't work, you will try another. You will research on it. You will try to understand what it is that inspires you, what it is that will help you, and you will try that over and over again. May Allah give us the wanting to connect with Him And believe me, brothers and sisters, it's worth all the effort, because when you are spiritually connected with Allah, it brings life, it brings light into your day. And you will see the shift from a scenario where you're sitting in a dark room to a room where everything is visible, everything makes sense, and you're able to appreciate the brightness and the beauty that's around you.